Greetings and welcome to Ghost Chat and Other Paranormal Things. I'm your host, Electric Elisa,
And I'm your co host, Jody.
and today our agenda for the show isn't really much of an agenda, but no, I do
Mm.
have some stories to share um, from my mom and my uncle that are quite recent. So, my mom was actually visiting here recently. She stayed mostly with my uncle. And on her last night here, she was staying with us because we're closer to the airport. She was telling me and my husband that she had a ghost experience, which my mom has really never really had. Maybe one
Yeah.
other one, but this one, she what she recalls is she was at my uncle's house and she was standing, and it was like she felt like someone was she was trying to move, and it was like somebody was already standing there, like
Oh,
where
wow.
the direction she was trying to move. And out of the corner of her eyes, she saw a woman in a yellow dress, but it was like, she said the dress had puffy sleeves. And she says it was odd.
Oh,
And I
that is.
said, puffy sleeves right from the 80s or puffy sleeves from the 1880s? And she said, kind of like the 1880s, but it seemed more recent. And the dress didn't seem that long. It didn't seem long, but she says it was so quick, she isn't for sure on that. And I had asked both of them, her and my uncle, if they knew anybody that used to wear a yellow dress. And they were like, no. And my mom was like, well, yellow isn't that common of a color of a dress to wear.
That's
And
true.
my uncle's comment about it was that could be anybody. So that was interesting. And yeah, so she didn't know what to really make of that. And yeah, it's weird. I've never actually seen anything like that myself.
Yeah. Wow. It'd be interesting
Yeah.
if Ancestry.com to make a family tree. I did that once. And some pictures sometimes pop up that you didn't even know were out there. You never know. There could be a picture of somebody in a yellow dress that would just pop up.
Right.
An
Well,
ancestor.
funny you mention that because we do have that.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Uh-huh. Um, I think I've been doing it more than anybody else, but
Yeah.
that's because I'm curious.
Yeah, I am too. I want to know my ancestry, where I
Mhm.
came from, and all that stuff, all that junk.
Although there's a lot of black and white pictures because,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
uh,
Well, maybe they could see a black and white picture of a dress with puffy sleeve, then they might know that that could be who she saw,
maybe.
even if
Um,
you can't see the color.
so fast forward uh, a couple weeks, and I was spending the afternoon with my uncle yesterday, and towards the end of it, I was asking, or was it at the beginning? I don't know. See, I'm getting older too. Things are. What time of day was it? No. Um. So, and I asked him about that, and because she had mentioned that she asked him if he ever felt like she was being watched here, or if there's other or someone a presence. And he's like, oh yeah, I feel like there's a lot of people here. um
Hmm.
but so I asked him about all that, and he said, yeah, sometimes he'll feel like a kick in his shin, or a slap on his shoulder, like
Hmm.
someone's like going, like
Yeah.
a pal or some, I don't know, um, or bumping him. And he's like, I don't know. I think maybe it's a fourth dimension,
Hmm. Could be.
and they're living in this space too, although they have different furniture, but they're here.
Yeah.
And sometimes It crosses, maybe.
It could. Maybe they feel us touching them.
Right.
Well,
That'd be weird. But because I asked him, if he thought there were any ghosts or anybody that he think would be there, and he said, well, no, because we were the first people that lived there. So it doesn't sound like he thinks that it could be his late wife.
and do could be something to do with the land that the property is on.
Right. And that's what I said too. And yeah, it was really, and I asked him if he knew of any, he could think of anybody that wore a yellow dress, and he said no, but that could be a lot of people.
Yeah, true.
I guess, I mean, it's true. It's not a whole lot of description, but I understand seeing glimpses of things, because that's often how you see like the shadow figures.
Right. Yeah,
So that was interesting because
that
yeah,
is. Especially because I don't think your mom sees things like that very often. So when she does,
no,
it is very interesting.
yeah,
Hmm. The only thing I have along those lines is my mom was talking the other day to her boyfriend about revisiting when she told me about the the museum in Lawrence, Kansas, Elizabeth Watkins Museum in Lawrence, Kansas.
yes.
How before she moved to California, she wanted to pay it one last visit, and she'd heard some things, but she never came across anything strange. But she went with me. I don't really remember this. I don't know how. I mean, I wasn't that young because it was when she moved to California, so I was a teenager, I think, or just barely in my 20s. But I don't know why I blocked it out. But she said at one point we were both downstairs and she wanted to go upstairs. She wanted to take the stairs to get some exercise though, not take the elevator. But I wanted to stay behind and look at something that I was looking at downstairs. So I stayed there and I told her I'd meet her upstairs. And then a few moments later, when she was going up the stairs, she heard huffing and puffing like someone was really struggling to get up the stairs. And she's like, "What? Did you change your mind? You can't make it up the stairs?" And she turned around. There's literally no one there, but she knows she heard like someone kind of huffing and puffing.
That's weird.
Um, And again, if the listeners out there Google Elizabeth Watkins Museum, you can probably find stories of ghostly encounters and that kind of thing. There was another one where she saw a picture. I remember saying that she saw a picture on the wall at the museum, and she swears there was movement in it. My mom's not on drugs; she doesn't drink or anything like that, but she swears she saw movement in the picture when she was staring at it. So I don't know if you stared at a picture long enough, does that happen, or the museum maybe put a picture in there that did that just to freak people out or something. I don't know.
Oh, that's like awfully modern technology for that town.
Hmm. And this was like in the 80s.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they, but she said, I swear to you, there were people in that picture that were moving. It sounds like something out of a scary movie.
I feel like if that had been the case, she would have known that.
Yeah,
I mean, she would have been able to figure that out.
probably so. And, I would have said something to, someone that worked there, like, hey, what's up with that picture? You know, I don't know. I feel like I would have said something to somebody. There weren't very many people at all in the museum. She said that day, it was very few. It's just me and her and a couple other scattered people around. But I don't know. It was a real pretty
Hmm.
museum, though.
Yeah.
And it's still there.
So, any interesting videos you've seen or any?
Really been watching any videos lately. I just get home from work and I crash out.
Yeah.
But the only thing that I could think of that I was mentioning to you earlier was the case of Elisa Lamb,
Mm-hmm.
which was, I don't know if our listeners have heard, a case of a lady that stayed at the Cecil Motel in Hollywood, I think. And she was acting normally to everyone. She was very friendly, they said. She went to a bookstore, which was just kind of catty corner from the hotel, and she was checking out or buying some books, and they were saying she's very nice. She seemed nice. Nothing seemed strange about her, but she disappeared. And then one day, guests at the hotel said that the water tasted strange. So they did some not research, but they looked around to see what was going on with the water tanks on the roof, and they found her body in there naked. Her clothes were, I think, floating around in there. And they kind of did some more research into it and found a video of surveillance video of her in an elevator looking like she was talking to somebody. She was making hand gestures like she was talking to somebody. Nobody else was in the elevator. She went inside. She tried to shut the doors and they wouldn't shut. And she kind of stood in the corner like she was cowering from something or hiding. And eventually she stepped outside the elevator. The door still wouldn't close. And she looked like she was talking to somebody. Her hands were kind of moving like she was making gestures at somebody. And people thought, well, maybe she was just crazy or maybe she was on drugs or something like that. But they did an autopsy, found no drugs in her system or alcohol. In fact, her medications were also not in her system that she was supposed to be taking, I think is what I heard. So that makes me think there was something she should have been taking that was making her paranoid or seeing things or whatever, hallucinating. And maybe she went to hide from somebody and climbed up on the roof. There was a ladder that you could climb the roof. I'm surprised they made that so readily available, though.
It's like easy access.
Way too easy access. Like some kids could be messing around and get
Right?
up the
And you
roof.
could put something weird in there.
Right, exactly. And how did she get up in a water tank? I guess there's ladders on the outside of those too. Why were clothes off? If she was paranoid about someone chasing her, maybe she thought she would drown if she had her clothes on, like they'd be too heavy. So she took them off. But just imagine them tasting the water and it tasting awful because there's a body in there. Good.
Yeah, I remember seeing the video you're talking about where she looked
Yeah.
like she was gesturing and was scared.
Yeah. Unless she was just being silly, or I don't think she knew she was on surveillance camera or anything. But sometimes I'll be talking to myself and I won't lie, I'll gesture a little bit. So maybe she was talking to herself or something. Everyone said that encountered her said she was very pleasant. Didn't seem strange. Nothing strange about her. Very friendly and very young. She was only like in college, barely
Yeah.
college age. Very, very young. I've always wondered if they ever solved that or if they ever figured out if she was put there, placed there, if it was something paranormal, if there was someone after her, or if she literally just was hiding from somebody.
No, I keep thinking they did, but
I'll have to Google that or look that up. That's one of my more fascinating stories
now I'm
that I've heard.
curious.
Yeah. And then we were talking, of course, I wish there were a way, maybe our listeners know, I wish there were a way that they were researching maybe to record our dreams. Because when I dream about my deceased father or my deceased friends, it'd be cool to see a reenactment or to see the dream, watch it like a movie and to see
Yeah.
them again. But we were also talking how dreams distort things. So
Yeah.
who knows? My dad might have weird ass hair or,
Or
might be
messed up face.
really messed up, googly face, googly eyes. That'd be weird. My dad,
Oh,
I would laugh so hard.
yeah. I don't know. It, and sometimes you have disturbing dreams that you'd rather not revisit.
Yeah. I'd still be sort of curious, but yeah, when I dream
I
about
mean,
giant spiders.
well, see, I would watch stuff like that because those are like
Was ya?
horror movies.
But probably you wouldn't want to watch stuff like you're being chased or.
Or just weird interactions with people that are disturbing.
Yeah.
I think that would, because sometimes you have weird dreams.
I read somewhere that
Yeah.
the brain shows you movies at night, kind of like movies, and then erases it all before you wake up. You do remember some. Supposedly, the ones you remember are, what's the word? Messages. But I think back on the dreams I remember, I'm like, that's not a message. That doesn't make any sense.
Oh,
So I
I
don't
have
know
one
about that.
for you. So I looked up to see about whether Elisa Lam was solved.
Oh, okay.
And here's what it says. It says the Elisa Lam case, where her body was found in a water tank on the roof of the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles, was officially ruled an accidental drowning with bipolar disorder as a significant factor with no evidence of foul play.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bipolar is very bad to have, I know.
Yes.
Because you can be extremely high or extremely low.
And you can have paranoia too. And you
Yeah.
can have like delusions and um some psychotic symptoms as
Yeah.
well.
She must have thought she was being chased or followed or something, and she was hiding.
Could have. Could have.
Sad. Well,
Yeah.
that would have been a scary experience once you know you're drowning and you can't get out of there. That's a good hiding
Yeah.
place, though. Whoever she was hiding from probably would have never found her there.
But not a
Lord.
good hiding place because she drowned.
Well,
So
yes, there's that. There's that side of it, yes.
yeah, I think good would be someplace where you fare well.
Right, right. That's sad.
Um, yeah, I've been watching a few videos here and there, some of them watching too late because then I start to doze off.
Right. I
But
hate that.
yeah, it's common as we age, isn't it?
Early.
Yes. Remember when we used to be able to stay up like so late?
Oh, I'd stay up all night sometimes. It was fun till the dawn came. And then I'd have just a regular day. I wouldn't sleep during the day. I'd just have a regular day and I wouldn't be tired. I didn't even notice
Um,
that I didn't get any sleep.
yeah,
Those were the good days.
they were.
I used to love to
So,
watch the TV. Remember when the TV signed out and they play
yes.
the national anthem? I'd
Mm-hmm.
watch till then.
Yep.
Anyway,
I think all of us that know that have done that and stayed up late for Friday Fright Night.
Friday Fright Night. Yep. Or the Friday night videos. What, they played videos all night. I'd stay up and watch
Uh-huh.
Duran Duran and Billy Idol, Madonna, and all that. We're showing our
There
age.
was, yeah, 120 minutes and
Yeah, that was good. And then later on, Headbangers Ball, but that was
yeah,
on a little earlier. I
yeah,
don't think it was an all night thing. I think 120 minutes wasn't an all night thing,
yeah.
but it was fun to watch. I wish that was still on.
I don't know if I would even watch that now. Like
I don't know.
videos? I don't
I'd
know.
be curious. Sometimes I'll look up a random video, like I'll be reminded of a video like Madonna did or something. I'm like, oh, I haven't seen that video in ages, and I'll go look it up on YouTube and revisit it, and it just kind of brings me back.
So I'm going through what I watched. There was something. So there, I started watching this video. Did not finish it because I got sleepy. But apparently, the CIA has secret files on reincarnation cases.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, obviously, I can see that I didn't get that far into it.
Yep.
So I probably got tired and got distracted. Most likely that. Yeah, there was something about dreams. The dreams, that your dreams are real.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
sometimes they are. If you
well, yes,
sometimes they're
premonitions.
premonition.
Yeah. But they're saying it was something so strange. But anyway, like some of your dreams are actual um,
Well,
stuff that's happening, but it's not. It's weird. I don't know.
I've heard that it's sometimes you're dreaming. It's a your own parallel universe,
Uh huh.
or you're astral projecting. It does feel like I'm traveling sometimes or flying to another place. But they
It's the real reason we're always tired when it's morning.
yes, because we've been traveling. We have jet lag, dream lag.
We don't really get to sleep because we're living another life.
Yes, that's what they say about parallel universes that I find fascinating. There's another universe with us in it, but we're in a different scenario. Like maybe I'm married in another scenario, or I have children. I can't imagine that. There's
Right.
another there's another scenario where you've never met your husband and maybe you're married to
Mm-hmm.
somebody else or you're single. Um, there's a scenario I could be in jail. I don't know.
Yeah.
All kinds of different things. And they say about dreams, going back to that, this has always interested me. When you dream about people that are unfamiliar in your dream, your brain doesn't make up faces. It's somebody that you've seen. It could be someone that you just saw in passing on the
Right.
sidewalk. Yeah. Or someone that was sitting down in a restaurant. You happen to look over and see them and you have a dream about them. So
Yeah.
apparently it's said, or it's been said, that your brain doesn't make up faces, that you've seen those people somewhere before.
But I've also read that the face can be a combination of several people.
True. That makes sense. Yeah.
I just picture this Pablo Picasso
Yeah,
type
right. With the
face,
nose on the
and this
forehead.
and and there's like squares on the
Oh,
face,
funny.
like
Yeah,
parts
yeah.
someone else's like eye, and it's just put in there
Yes.
like a puzzle piece.
Uh huh. That's what I think too. I think that our dreams are really distorted that way. But if we watch them, it would look like that.
It might
That's hilarious. My
because
mom said she had a dream one time. This made me laugh so hard. And I'll try to watch my language because there's bad language. But she had a dream one time where um, we were trying out a machine to teleport, a teleporting machine. But when you teleported, kind of like the fly, things wouldn't quite go back the way they were supposed to. And for
oops.
some reason, when I teleported and when I went to the next pod, I had a man's appendage on my forehead, on my forehead. And in the dream, my mom said, "Hey, you can't have that on your forehead." And I told her in my dream, "Oh, mom, it's no big deal." Oh my God, yes, that is a huge deal to
Yes,
wake up
that is a
with
huge deal.
that on your forehead. I was acting in the dream like, "Oh, who cares? It's not a big deal." Oh my God. I don't know if that would happen if we teleported, if things wouldn't, because our molecules have to go back in the right order and everything.
Right. I remember many years ago I was talking to my late uncle about that. We were having a discussion about teleportation. And I remember him saying, "Well, they tried, but not everything went back like it was
Oh,
supposed to." So I don't know if he was just saying that
huh.
or but
Interesting.
I have read that they've tried to do something like that but with like little particles or something.
Yeah, they could try it with something like that, like Willy Wonka, that scene where they took the candy bar and they teleported it from the TV to something else,
Mhm.
and then that little boy decided he wanted to try it, but he came out all shrunken. It just, I don't, I think that something would go wrong. I don't think that that's. I wouldn't be surprised if they've experimented though, in that
Right.
they probably experiment in a lot of things. They have the hadron collider, so they're colliding molecules. Is it molecules? They're colliding something all the
Something
time.
like that. Atoms?
Atoms, I think you're right. They're making atoms collide so they can research whatever they're going to research, but it's just kind of, it seems kind of dangerous. I don't know anything about it,
No,
but
I don't either.
I've heard they can possibly create a black hole, which would suck. Literally.
Yeah, but I read that we might have black holes even in our closet that we don't know about.
Oh, maybe.
And my thought was that's where that t-shirt went.
See? And the other socks or whatever else is
Uh-huh.
missing
Then
into the black
there must
hole.
be in the dryer.
I'm right now missing a sock. I've been missing a sock for I don't know how long, and I take everything out of the dryer, and there's not. You'd think that they would pop up with some other
Right?
laundry.
I
It never
know.
has.
I've
Where do
had
those
weird
other
things like
socks?
that happen and then they're there all of a sudden and I'm like, "Okay."
That happens too. Oh yeah, that reminds me of that garage door opener thing, which you thought might have been a glitch. So this is just this is such a random podcast today.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
I keep my garage door opener, it's a remote, and my keys in a certain pocket in my purse. Took them out, put them on the counter. Wrote my mom a note. She was still asleep, but I wanted to write her a note for when I went to work. She would get up later and find it. Picked up my keys, and I thought my remote. Went out the door, and in my hand, I realized I didn't have the remote. Went back in, no remote to be found. It was not near where my keys were. It wasn't near anything. I eventually found it. I opened up our silverware drawer has pens. I opened up the silverware drawer to take a pen out to write my mom a note, and the garage door opener was in that drawer. I have no recollection at all of putting the remote. Why would I put it inside the drawer with silverware?
And was the pen you wrote with in there?
Yes, I put the
Oh,
pen back
that's
in there.
weird. See, you would have that's weird.
And yeah, that would make more sense if I put the remote in there thinking that was the pen and the pen was
Right.
out. But the pen and the remote were both in that drawer for some reason. And it's just weird to me that I have zero recollection of doing that.
Yeah.
And you had an earring show up out of nowhere,
Mhm.
didn't it? A missing
Mhm.
earring.
Yeah.
See, that's a glitch too.
Yep.
When you're
And
sure
remember
something is missing and then it pops up.
and remember the dog going outside but then all of a sudden being inside.
Mhm.
That hasn't happened in a while though.
I'm convinced there are glitches in the Matrix. I don't know if we're just all simulation. I don't know if I believe that or not, but
Or is he I mean, are Are we sometimes going into the different dimensions and not realizing it?
Could be like crossing over or something. Could be. I don't
You
know.
know, when you're driving along and all of a sudden you're like, where the heck am I?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've had that happen. My dad, of course, in his case, it was Alzheimer's, I think. But my dad apparently had forgot how to get home. Now that'd be scary. I've had dreams
Oh
like that
yeah.
ever since he died. I've had dreams that I'm back in my hometown and I can't find anything. Which I could go back right now and find everything unless they've changed it all. But in my dream, and I wondered if it's my dad influencing my dreams and showing me this is what it felt like. When I couldn't. Everything was just in my dream. It seemed like it was another country. My hometown seemed like another country entirely. Didn't know where my house was. I didn't know
Oh,
where the
weird.
stores were. Then I went down. I finally found the street where my house was, and it looked completely different. It was just very scary. I don't know.
That is weird. I will tell you though that hometown has changed a lot.
Has it? It
Yeah,
probably would feel
parts
like
of it.
another.
There's so many more neighborhoods.
Oh wow! I'd like to go see it.
Well, I
Huh.
mean, who's stopping you? Well,
Well, money and time.
yeah.
Actually, money, it would be that bad. What is a flight now? I don't even know. I
Well,
thought
it
at
depends.
once,
Sometimes you can get good deals.
yeah,
You just gotta
if you go at
look
a
for
certain
them.
time.
Yeah.
I think it's cheaper if you go during the week than if you go on the weekend, which that's
Mhm.
fine with me. It'd be less crowded. I don't want a crowded airport.
Yeah.
We've got two airports here. We've got LAX. Ugh, it gives me anxiety.
Oh,
Everyone's heard of
yeah.
LAX. And then there's a smaller airport in Burbank, which is really nice. You don't have any anxiety there. It's not crowded. It doesn't fly out of the country, I don't think, though. So I don't care. I don't fly out of the country anyway. But there's also the train. I used to take the
Mhm.
train up here to visit my mom, so I could always take the train back to Kansas to visit, but it would, take a while. It's a long trip.
How
It's like
long is
30
it?
hours.
Oh.
30 hours. But you could buy a car with your own room, which is about $1,000. If you just take the train regular on a regular seat, it's 300, and that's awfully expensive. You have to share a
Yeah.
bathroom. You have to share a bathroom. So no thanks. I'd rather just if I'm going to share a bathroom, I'd rather spend $300 and just get a regular seat. I can sleep on the seat. It's comfortable. Bring a pillow. You can bring a pillow. You can bring snacks. But anyway,
That is more expensive than I was thinking.
at least it was when I checked into an Amtrak.
Mhm.
But flying isn't bad. I think you can get a good deal depending on when you go. But that's not very paranormally. I've never had a paranormal experience on a plane that I can
No,
think
I
of.
don't think I would like one.
No, not up there. I'm already got anxiety being up that high anyway. I don't want to see
Yeah.
ghosts or. There was
Something on
one.
the wing.
Oh God,
like
there's
what was
something.
that? What that was the
Twilight
Twilight
Zone
Zone?
with William Shatner, and there was one with oh shoot, they redid it. I forgot his name.
I know
John
the
Lithgow.
one was that was that the one where they were stuck in the airport?
I don't think so. I think they were literally on the plane and they saw William Shatner. Well, same with John Lithgow when they redid it. They saw a creature on the plane screwing with the wing and pulling out
Mhm.
wires. God.
Yes. But
Um,
there was another one involving a plane in an airport.
an airport. I'm sure I've seen it. I just can't think of it right now.
I yeah, it's been so long.
I love the Twilight Zone episodes. But speaking of going back to paranormal in planes, there is a really cool video. You guys should look it up. So should you. There's a really cool video out there. I'll see if I can find it of this, and this seems real. I'm trying to explain it. Um, there's a pilot, and he's sitting in the cockpit. I think he's just landed because his plane is empty, and he's finishing up his paperwork, whatever pilots do when they're still sitting on the plane. And he looks over because he sees movement, and he sees a hangar where people walk along that big hangar when they get on and off the plane. You
Mhm.
walk inside that hallway type of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
This hangar wasn't hooked up to anything. It wasn't hooked up to a plane. It was literally just sitting idle. And he saw people walking across the hangar, and they were walking a little too fast for people, like someone put it up hyperspeed or whatever. So there's people boom 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 walking across this hangar where there shouldn't be. It's a video I saw on YouTube one time, and it looks real to me. I don't know how they could have remade that. I mean, I'm sure that there's a way they could fake that, but the pilot took out his phone because he saw that, and he's like, "Look at this! There's this hangar idle in the middle of nowhere, not hooked up to any plane, and there are people walking very quickly across in the hangar, just going very fast, which is kind of eerie, like distortingly fast. Ugh.
But it was a hangar to nowhere.
Hangar to nowhere, and the people walking in it. I'm gonna find it.
Yeah. That sounds
That's
weird.
weird. I think I told you one time. This is weird. This creeps me out. Of how do I put this in the right order? There was this man, and he woke up in the middle of the night having a nightmare that he was stuck in a forest, and there was this sounds weird, Disney music playing, but the music was way too loud, just distortingly loud. I get creeped out when things are distorted. So the music was distortingly loud, and he was caught in this forest with all these trees, and he was lost. He could not get out of it. Only thing he could think of to do was take out his cell phone in his dream. He took out his cell phone, and he couldn't think of any number to call for some reason except for his own. So he called up his phone, and he got his answering machine. This is back when there were answering machines. He got his answering machine, and he left a message saying, "Help me, help me. I'm lost. I can't get out of this." And then suddenly he woke up from the stream in his bed. He went downstairs. He had a message on his answering machine, and he played it, and it was very loud Disney music with someone yelling, help me, I'm stuck, I can't get out of this," like he recorded it himself. The only logical thing I could think of is that he sleptwalked downstairs, turned on this TV to something that was like a Disney program,
Mm-hmm.
turned it way up, and started yelling, and called himself. I don't know. I'm trying to think of, but it's like the answer machine recorded his dream. Basically, it was what he's trying to say. That's really weird.
That's
That kind
weird.
of creeps me out.
Yeah. So
A
obviously he had
forest.
a landline.
Yeah, but he still had a cell phone though, because he said something about taking out his cell
Well,
phone. I've been looking for that story. They
people
still
had
had them.
both for a while.
Yeah, I guess so. They probably had those big clunky cell phones.
Well, no, people had landlines for a while as a backup,
Yeah.
and until people, I don't know, I'm sure there's some people that still do. I mean, there's businesses that do.
Yeah.
But what happens, because we did for a little bit, and then we quickly ended that because we were like, this is dumb, because the only calls we're getting are sales calls.
Yeah, you might as well get rid of it if
Yeah.
everyone's calling your. That's what my mom did too. When I moved in here with
Hmm.
her, she had both a cell phone and a landline, and I just had the cell phone when I moved here. And she was just getting spam calls. So we just was like,
Hmm.
we're like, what's the point of having a landline when your sister and your relatives and your friends are all calling your cell phone? So heck with it.
Right.
But it was kind of cool to have an answering machine. Remember when they first came out?
Yes.
Answering machines
Yes.
were fun. You could record a message, and
Yeah.
I'd record really silly ones.
I remember we did on yours.
Yes, we did. That's right. To all the listeners, Elisa and I go way back to when she was 14 and I was 16, back in the mid 80s,
Yeah. I
where
don't
we met
even
at a
know.
record store. Well, we met through a friendship book.
Yes.
I remember seeing your name like, someone that lives in my hometown. What the heck? We were
Yeah.
Duranis.
So funny.
We went through a lot of music stages, though. We went from Duranis to glam. Remember glam metal?
But I
I
remember the
was.
punk rock shows, and
Yeah, there were those. I still like those. Those are still fun. They asked me at work what kind of music I listen to, and I'm like, well, I like 80s music. I said the Ramones is my go-to band. I just always loved the Ramones and Joey and everybody. But then I love like Billy Idol and Madonna and Culture Club and all that too. So I don't know.
yeah.
80s. And that brings me back to the 2000, wait, the 1988 anomaly, where they think that the world ended in 1988.
Yes.
And that's why we have such fond memories, because we miss
But
it.
There's some that think it was 1999 too.
Could be. I think they're saying every 12 years or something. 2012 was another one where the world just keeps ending every 12 years.
And then it resets
Resets itself.
and it gets more and more messed up each time.
I know, it gets worse and worse. How much worse can it get? We keep getting pushed into another timeline.
Oh, I remember something I watched the other day. This is more on the sci-fi realm.
Yeah.
But there's some that are saying, well, maybe our whole galaxy is in a black hole.
Oh, that would be weird.
I still think it's weird when about the black holes though being in your house.
That is weird. I don't know if I believe that or
So they'd
not
be
because
small,
they have to be really
right?
small.
And what
I
would
still
they be
think
doing?
I don't know what would they be doing. I still think there's something going on with mirrors. I think that there's some kind of maybe a black hole or something. If it's anywhere, it's in a mirror because they're
Okay.
just, especially when they face each other, which you're not supposed to do. I have like two giant mirrors in my bedroom and two small makeup mirrors. I think I have way too many mirrors. They're not facing each other, but I always think I don't look at, for some reason, I don't want to look at them in the dark. I don't like to look at a mirror in the dark because I just have a weird feeling that there's something there that's
I always
looking
think
looking
something's
back.
gonna be behind me.
Yeah, that would be creepy. Or what if there's been a movie I saw where this lady was looking into the mirror and her reflection was doing things that she was not doing, like it
Mm-hmm.
was blinking
Oh yeah,
or just doing
movies.
things. Yeah,
Yep.
that seems like that reflection is not you, my dear.
No, that's creepy. And what else? What else have I noticed? That the movie Mirrors was really good.
With um Kiefer
Kiefer
Sutherland.
Sutherland.
Yeah, because at the end he realized he wasn't a mirror. Yeah, it was a good movie, and they redid it or they did a sequel. It's
They
terrible.
did a sequel. Yeah.
Sequels never work anyway. It's an interesting movie that he would be in, of all people.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't think he'd be in a movie like that, but Of course, speaking of him, there was somebody that there's a lady on TikTok who does sign language, and she signs songs. That's hard to say. She signs songs, and she signed "Cry Little Sister" from the Lost Boys, which is,
Oh.
in my opinion, the best vampire movie. I'm not really into vampire movies, but
Mm-hmm.
that one from 1987. Good lord, that's so long ago.
I remember we saw that movie several times.
Several times. And now when I watch it, it seems silly. I still love it, but it seems silly to me. It's hokey. It's
Yeah.
it's it's corny. But back then it was awesome.
Yeah.
Then there's staying on movies. There's Nosferatu, which I've heard is really boring.
Uh, I have not seen that. I
I don't
saw
really
the
want to.
original one, the one that
I
was
haven't even seen
silent.
that. Hmm.
Um,
Anyway, I love how we just get
so
off subject.
I know the Smile movies are creepy.
Yeah, definitely. I'm creeped out. There's certain images in horror movies don't scare me too much. They just entertain me. But there are certain images, like my mom's creeped out. What creeps her out is someone in black sunglasses, like someone you can see their face except for their eyes. She doesn't like that.
Huh.
Mine is like the movie Smile, where their smile is just a little bit too big. That
Mm-hmm.
kind, or teeth, a lot of teeth. That kind of creeps me out. Ugh,
A lot of sharp teeth.
a lot of sharp teeth.
You know that thing I posted? I don't know if you did you watch it where it had it was definitely IA generated, but they
Yeah.
took like old paintings of or statues of well-known like figures in history
Mm-hmm.
and made them like human.
Oh, they make them like zombies, kind of.
No, no, no. They made them human.
Okay.
So you're going through and watching it, and I watched like the whole thing. It was really interesting because it's fascinating, right?
Yeah.
But then they started messing up because then they'd be smiling with bloody teeth,
Oh no,
and he'd be like,
that's not supposed to happen. I think I have seen that. Now I didn't see the bloody teeth, but I think I did see the ones where they're made them human, like they were moving and smiling
Mhm.
and whatever. Again, there's also another thing on
Yeah.
TikTok
And
where
towards the when it if you watch the whole thing, you will
yeah,
see it, and it's like, whoops.
Yeah, that's a big whoops. Unless they kind of meant to, like they were
No,
just being creepy. Oh no,
no.
AI kind of messed it up. There's another one where it's similar, where people that have sad people who have passed away, they show them what they would look like now, and they're moving, they're like waving and giving the peace
Oh,
sign and
yeah.
smiling, and it's very sad. They showed like Robin Williams and Betty. Oh, really, Jody? Betty out. What's her name? White.
Betty
Betty
White?
White. I'm trying to think who else. Heath Ledger, Prince. Even sometimes they don't look like the AI generates them, and
Mhm.
sometimes they don't look like it. The one that was Prince looked nothing like him, so that kind of ruined it. But they show how old they'd be now and what they'd look like. They even did John Benet Ramsey and Kaylee Anthony. They showed what they would look like.
Uh-huh.
That it's just sad, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sweet, but it's sad. You know, such a young people who, even if they weren't young like Betty White, just that they're gone. That was the only one that made me tear up a little bit was Betty White. Even though I never met her, that made me tear up a little bit. She died like 1 month before her 100th birthday. She
Yeah.
almost made it to, she was gonna have a big shindig. Anyway, that's not very paranormal unless you see her ghost.
Well, I don't think I'll be seeing her ghost. I don't think she'd be here. So
No, I don't think so. We didn't ever
I'd be
interact with her.
concerned if that were the case.
Yeah, it'd probably be something pretending like they're Betty White
All right.
that wasn't really her. Something evil.
Yes. Evil. Mwah.
Anyway, I don't know where this podcast went, but it went in some different directions. That's just the way
Yeah.
we talk. We hope to have a guest on soon. I'm working on, getting somebody on here. I was even working on some big name stars. Not big, but Elisa knows who I was trying to get.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I haven't heard anything, but I'm not surprised. People that are kind of semi-famous probably expect money anyway, and I don't know if they get paid for their podcasts or who knows. We'll get Julia Roberts on here one day. Maybe she has some paranormal stories.
Maybe.
So we hope to get some guests on pretty soon.
Yes. I am working on some too, not celebrities.
No, I'm not going to look for celebrities anymore. Just
No.
wishful thinking.
Yeah.
We'll get somebody on here, but if you like us, make sure you subscribe.
We did have a celebrity though.
We
Remember?
had who did we have? Joe wasn't really.
No.
Joe's probably he's probably listening going, I am too a celebrity.
Karen.
Oh, Karen Rontowski, right?
Yeah.
Rontowski. Yeah.
Yep.
She was great to have on. I loved her.
Mhm.
We're going to have her on again. We should try that.
Yeah,
Maybe
we
have
should.
her on again.
Yeah.
We promoted her tour, which was kind of fun. There is one lady I'm getting on called Spooky Selena or something like that. Spooky Selena, who has she sleepwalks, and she records. They have cameras in the home that records her sleepwalking, and she looks like she's speaking to somebody, which is kind of weird. So I wanted to have her on to talk about that. And she has ghosts. She has a lot of ghostly encounters in the house that they're in, her and her husband. So she's not a huge celebrity or anything. She's just on the internet. So I'm trying to get her on here. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Spooky Selena. But like and subscribe. We're on what? Amazon, YouTube, Spotify,
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio. That's right. I forgot about that.
And then there's some other ones. I just can't remember.
Yeah. Well, I think that if you put in Ghost Chat and other paranormal things, you'll see us pop up in several places.
Yeah.
So anyway.
So, yeah. Send us your stories. You want to give the email?
Sure. Any kind of stories you have, paranormal experiences, anything you've had, if you just want to chit chat on the show, send it to thespookysisters666@gmail.com. I check the Gmail every day, so I'll make sure I get your messages. You can be on the show, or if you just want us to talk about your experiences and you not be on the show, it's whatever. But
Yeah.
reach out to us.
Do that. Yes.
Well, thank you for listening, people.
Yes. Thank you for listening, and spooky dreams.
Spooky dreams and paranormal wishes. I don't know.
There you go. All right.
See you later, people.
Later.
Bye.